Welcome everyone to Module 2. Today we are going to be talking about knowing your true voice. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about knowing your truth and the right choices for you to make in any and all decisions. So you've probably heard the sayings that you should trust your gut or follow your gut instinct and follow your heart. But did you know that those sayings actually have scientific research to back them up? So serotonin is a brain neurotransmitter. It communicates the information between the brain and body, and it's estimated that 90% of the body's serotonin is made in the digestive tract. This is why the digestive tract has been nicknamed the second brain due to the amount of serotonin found in it. So this is where we get our gut instinct. Also why it's important to eat good and healthy foods like fruits and vegetables and natural probiotics so that you can keep your gut healthy, your digestive tract healthy, so that your brain and body is able to communicate more efficiently. And also when it talks about like trusting your heart or going with your heart, did you know that your heart does more than just pump blood? Your heart is a magnet, and the magnetic field around your heart can be measured several feet away from the body. And in fetal development, the heart forms and starts beating before the brain begins to develop. So that can kind of just give you an idea of how important the heart is. And positive emotions create psychological benefits in your body, like boosting your immune system. And the Heart Math Institute has found that the heart picks up on information first and then sends it to the brain and then to the rest of the body, which is different than what scientists have thought in the past, where they thought the brain controls everything. But now that we're seeing that the heart actually picks up on information first and then sends it to the brain. So the electromagnetic field of the heart is actually 60 times greater than the brain. So if you've ever walked into a room when someone has been fighting and you felt that tension, that is your heart picking up on the electromagnetic field, that energy that, your parents or your siblings or your friends, like they're fighting. And so like their heart is emitting that energy, and your heart is picking up on that. So it's really interesting that our heart picks up on that and then sends that message to the brain. And then that's when we get those feelings that something's not right. And scientists can even look at an EKG machine and tell if someone is feeling anger or love just by the difference, the way that your heart beats differently when you are feeling anger or you're feeling love or other emotions. So if you want more information, if you want more information on this, you can look at a bunch of different TED Talks and documentaries, and you can go to the Heart Math website and read some of their case studies on all this information. And I'll even post a few links for more information if you're interested in learning more about that. But I also encourage you to look at the Bible and see how the research correlates to Jesus' teachings, because Scripture talks a lot about the importance of the heart. The word heart is actually mentioned 570 times in the New International Version and 830 times in the King James Version. So, like I said, the Bible has a huge importance on the heart, and we'll see more about that. So in Proverbs, it talks about guarding your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So even back then, they realized that you need to guard your heart because, different people around us in different circumstances will impact our heart, and they know that everything flows from it. So your heart picks up on stuff, and whatever your heart feels is then going to be transmitted into like the thought of the brain, and then your actions will come through with that. Jesus warned that people who have calloused hearts won't accept his teachings. And Psalms says that we should ask God to create a new heart within us. And Romans 12 talks about renewing your heart and renewing your mind. And we're going to talk more about how we can do that. So, but first I want to do a little exercise and ask you, how is your heart? What is the condition your heart is currently in? And we can get a good understanding of the condition of our heart by examining our thoughts and our feelings, our words, and our actions. So I want you to pause the audio in a second and make a list, write down things that you have thought or said in the last week, or some of your actions, and some of your thoughts behind those actions. And just take a minute to write that down. All right, pause audio if you need to. I'm going to continue on. So Dr. Dane here is the author of the book, Being You, Changing the World. And in that book, he talks about how 98% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. And he says that because our teachers, our parents, media, they've all said stuff, and we've seen stuff, and so none of our thoughts and feelings are really ours. And I feel like that's definitely true in high school, because we're surrounded by so many different people and opinions, and we have teachers and parents and media, and they're all putting pressures on us to think a certain way and do certain things. And so it's true that 98% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't actually belong to us. And so what I want you guys to understand is that a lie, an example of this is that picture a kid in line for some ride, whether it's, like a roller coaster or any like fair or circus type ride. And they're really excited to go on the roller coaster, and they're jumping around and they're squirming around because they're so excited, and their parent looks down at them and says, "Oh, honey, don't be afraid." And all of a sudden, we're going to equate the feeling that we're feeling of that excitement with fear. So now going ahead, at any time that we feel excitement about something, we're going to think it's fear and have like a negative view on that feeling that we're feeling. So, yeah. So a lie will always make you feel heavier, and the truth will always make you feel lighter. So asking yourself, when you're feeling certain strong emotions, feeling or have a thought in your head that is just, making you feel a certain way, asking yourself, is this like light or heavy? And then asking yourself, who does this belong to? So ask yourself what feels light. Ask yourself, when something doesn't feel light, who does this belong to? Does it belong to me, or is it someone else's thought or feelings that they're imposing on me? Another good thing that I like to do is I like to put a face to the voices. So there have been people who have said things to me in the past that are very heavy for me, and sometimes they just get stuck in your head, kind of. So for instance, I had an ex who always told me not to feel. We dated for 3 years, and I was never really allowed to feel angry. And so anytime I would feel angry, either at him or his sister or his parents or anything, he would always tell me, like, just don't feel. Just don't feel. And that just made me even more angry. And so now that we are not together, every now and then when I am feeling angry, I will have that voice in my head like that I shouldn't be feeling this way. And that feels very heavy to me. And I just need to learn to like accept the emotion that I'm feeling, but know that it's not like personally me feeling it. It's an emotion. It's going to come and go and it's going to pass with time. But that's one thing that helps me is kind of putting a face to the voices. And another, when we talk about putting a face to the voice, there's definitely God's voice and Satan's voice. So God's voice is going to reassure you. He'll lead you. He'll enlighten you. He'll give you those light bulb moments. He'll forgive you. He'll calm you when things seem very chaotic. He'll be that calm voice that you hear. He'll encourage you and he'll comfort you. Meanwhile, Satan's voice is going to make you feel rushed. It's going to make you feel afraid, and you're going to feel like pushed into things, like you have no choice but to go down a certain way. He'll make you feel obsessed. Something is going to happen, whether that's drama at school or a boy that likes you, and he's just going to make you feel so obsessed about that one certain thing that you won't be able to see what's going on around you. He'll make you feel condemned. He'll discourage you, and he will worry you. And so I just want you to know that when you are feeling these emotions, and you can think back to a time where you have felt rushed or to a time that you have felt reassured, and think of emotions or think of times that you have felt those certain emotions, and then just kind of realize like, okay, that was Satan making me feel that way. That was God making me feel this way. And really just understand that like now going forward, whenever you feel rushed or pushed or discouraged or you're worrying about something, just know that that's not, you're not focusing on God. And that's, the thoughts that you're thinking in your head can be Satan putting those thoughts into your head. So really like, going and talking to a friend or someone who will, help like speak through God's voice and, be that voice of encouragement and comfort. And yeah. So growing in your awareness. So last week we talked a little bit about awareness and how we can grow in awareness. And we're going to expand on that because awareness is something that we all need to learn, and it's that personal awareness that will help us be more in tune with our body. And the more in tune we are with what's going on inside of us, the more control we'll have going, like things happening outside of us. So meditation is huge. I want you guys to start a little meditation practice, and we can talk more about what your personal meditation practice can look like. So a few meditation practices that I like to do is like an ocean breathing technique. So picturing myself, if you've ever been to the ocean, you can picture the ocean, picture the waves. So as you are breathing in, picture the waves going back out into the ocean. And then as you are exhaling, picture the waves like, coming up and crashing on the shore. So you are matching your breath with the ocean. Next one you can do is if you are really in tune with your body, this one is a great one to do, which is focusing on your heartbeat. So really trying to calm your body and calm your mind enough for you to feel your heartbeat. You can even put your hand on your chest, but the more practice you do with this one, you'll actually be able to feel your heartbeat without putting your hand on your chest. And the next one is a mountaintop meditation. So this one I like to do when I need a new perspective. So I will picture myself sitting at the top of a mountain, and I am looking out over either the ocean or more like hills and trees. And every now and then I will picture kind of like my life or the problem that's going on. in my life, and I will picture myself looking at that from like a bird's eye view. And that's just me getting a new perspective. The clouds. So, along with the mountaintop meditation, sometimes I will picture myself sitting at the top of the mountain and there are clouds passing by. This one I like to do when life feels a bit chaotic, or I feel like my brain is going a million miles an hour. So, I will picture each thought as a cloud, and I will try to just stay sitting in my like chair on the top of the mountain, and I'm going to let the thoughts pass by, but I am not going to get carried away by the thoughts themselves. uh, and that's just one thing that I like to do. The computer screen is also one that's good for when my brain feels very chaotic. I will focus on myself, like sitting in front of a computer screen, and each thought that I have is a different tab open on my computer. And so I'm just picturing myself like closing out of each tab, of each thought. And a Bible verse. So this one is good when really anytime, but I like to do this one uh, just when I feel like I need that connection with God. And so I will pick a Bible verse and I will focus on that. One that's really easy and one that I really like to focus on is the Psalms that says, "Be still and know that I am God." And so I will just like pick different words. So, like, be still, or know that I am God, or know that I am. And I will just focus on those words that go with that verse. And remember that it is normal to get distracted during meditation. Even meditation experts get distracted. And the trick is to not have a whole meditation where you're never distracted. The trick is to notice when you've become distracted and quickly bringing yourself back into the moment, into the meditation. So, to recap, we talked about how the heart is more powerful than you thought, where your thoughts come from, and the difference between light and heavy, and how you can become aware of your thoughts and emotions. So, if you haven't already, I want you to go back through and do the exercise where you write down your thoughts that you've had in the last day or the last week. And also, I want you guys to meditate and reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.